Of Joe Louis to the ring in a heavyweight 7-round bout with Charleton Young. Let's go inside the ring now with Larry Black.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing from Shreveport, Louisiana, 22 years old, 6 foot tall, 183 pounds, Charleton Young. Charleton Young. And a man who is a living legend in karate, weighing in at 194 pounds, 5 foot, 11 inches tall, and 39 years old, the great former heavyweight champ of the world, Joe Louis.
Joe Louis, the very first PKA heavyweight champion. And as we mentioned prior, he's held about every karate title possible.
He won every major title there was.
We talked with him just before he got into the ring.
Not since I've come out of retirement. It was one of the things that drove me into retirement years ago. I didn't like always trying to protect the image. And so far as tonight goes, I think it'll be the toughest fight of my life. My strategy will be just take it round for round, keep moving, try not to get hit. And I've heard a lot of flack about I'm going to get knocked out, I'm going to get cut. I kick like a three-day-old white belt and all this nonsense from the other camp, but I try not to listen to any of that stuff. And again, my strategy will be just go out and try to win each round. It's real simple, like in the old days in the streets.
Joe Louis in his comeback try. He'll be facing a youngster who has a very impressive 15-1 record, Charleton Young. We asked Charleton about having to go up against a living legend and what his fight strategy might be against Joe Louis, because Louis is trying to come back at the age of 39. How do you look at this fight against his?
Well, Joe Louis is a legend, was a legend in his own time, but I feel that me giving up 12 pounds to a man who weighs 190-something pounds, I'm weighing 180 pounds, will be to my advantage. I believe I'm a quicker fighter. I believe I have just as much power as he does. But he also has a strong right hand, but I feel that I can maneuver around that hand and get into his body and work his body.
Rick Clark, the referee in the ring, gets the two fighters together. Bill's a veteran referee, Bill Clark, and let's listen to the instructions.
Keep your kicks above the waist and hard. Have a no foul fight. We'll step back, bow to me, bow to each other, and have a good match. Step back. Step back right over here. Joe right here. Face this direction. Bow.
Joe Louis.
Each other. Bow. Timekeeper.
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Fight.
As well as Los Angeles. Charleton Young. Shreveport, Louisiana.
Charleton Young just starts right off with the front leg roundhouse kick. They tell me he kicks just like Bill Wallace, and I think that's what he wants to show.
Joe Louis trying his first kick. Got some leverage, but Charleton Young very quick, and he showed his quickness on that move away from the kick.
Louis always had a very devastating front leg side kick. Even back in the point days, he used to really drill people with the side kick, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of side kicks out of him. He'll kind of stomp the floor before he throws it, which is sort of a clue to his opponent. That's probably not a good thing for him to do. There again, he starts to wind up for it a little bit.
Good stiff left jab that time, getting to Charleton.
There again is the left leg side kick of Louis, moving across, sticking in that stiff left leg side kick.
Louis with a very determined look on his face, very quiet determination.
Well, Louis obviously is not at age 39 doing something like this lightly. I'm sure he's given this a tremendous amount of thought, because he realizes what kind of risk he's taking with his image, with the fact that he has been one of the all-time greats, if not the all-time great.
Charleton has already learned to respect his power. There's some redness on the left cheek of Charleton. And a good jab now by Joe Louis.
Keep jabbing, Joe. Keep jabbing. You get nothing, jab.
Louis is just an extremely powerfully built man.
20 seconds remaining in the first round of a scheduled 7-round heavyweight match.
Relax, Joe. Just relax. There you go. Ain't got nothing yet. There you go, jabbing, Joe. Keep
The first round, not apparently a tiring one as far as Joe Louis is concerned, because I know a lot of people are concerned about how far he can go with conditioning. There's the bell that ends round 1.
Young was excited and anxious for this fight. No question, he has everything to gain. You know, he's fighting a man that has been the legend. Louis comes right out with that side kick right away.
Louis with the blue stripes on his pants. Charleton Young with the red and white. Good stiff jab with that left hand.
The thing I don't expect to see much from Louis is much in the way of real rapid combinations.
Spinning back kick, hit on the heel, connected on Louis that time. Good combination to the head. Charleton finally getting a combination now. Hard left hand. And Young just comes firing right back with a good left hand himself. Blocks the kick with the glove. Now Charleton Young going after Louis. Very hard punching.
The first round, I had Louis winning the round because I felt like he pretty well pushed the action. Had a 10-9 round for Louis. So far the second round, though, I had to feel that Charleton Young is in control.
Louis almost walking into that right hand, but got enough arm and glove on it to block it.
What we could see happen.
Spinning back fist that hit on the forearm, and he's getting the warning from Bill Clark.
What we could see happening is that as the fight wears on, if Louis doesn't hurt Charleton Young early in this fight, he's going to gain confidence with every round because Louis is going to become less and less a legend to him.
Louis liking to change the lead every now and then.
I think it's real important that Louis gets out there and does some damage.
Left hand is getting a little bit to Young in that there is more swelling under the left eye. Approaching the finish of round 2. Bill Louis gets a good left hand at the sound of the bell, and that's the end of round 2. We'll be back with more PKA action after this.
It catches Louis moving away, follows up with the right hand. Louis seals off very nicely. Doesn't seem to be affected at all by that. The hook kick did hit. Louis happened to be moving away, which is fortunate. In that second round, Young with 15 kicks, Louis with 9, so Young is really keeping up the kicking action.
Round 3. Beautiful kick that time that led off the round by Charleton Young. How about the scoring, John?
I've got this fight dead even. I had the first round for Louis, the second round for Young. Once again, my scoring is unofficial. There's that hard side kick by Louis. He comes across and just drives that thing in with a lot of body weight momentum behind it. He really does kick hard with that front leg side kick.
The right hand by Young had some steam to it, but it was not an effective area. Gets a good jab that time, away to Louis.
Young is standing in there and taking those kicks on the arms.
He's pulling the elbows down to block it. That might give Louis an open target up top. Louis covering up on the barrage. No harm done.
Certainly that's the idea. When you kick the body, that brings those elbows down and in, creates that opening for the head. Young's throwing a lot of kicks, but Louis is easily evading those kicks and picking them up on his arms. He's not hurting Louis at all with his kicks.
Louis going with that left-handed jab. Every once in a while, he'll change and lead with the right. Slaps the midsection of Young that time. The corner of Young was asking him to go to the body of Louis, but Young really has not been able to get into the body of Louis. Louis, a good combination, finished up with the right hand. He slipped on that series.
He's really teeing off with that right hand. If he makes contact, it's going to be a long or a short night for Charleton Young.
There's a little redness now under the left eye of Louis. That was an effective punch in that it did not have a great deal of power, but it hit in the target area that he's been blasting the entire fight. Good short left hand, a right to the body, and now that one will take some punishment there. Louis on your left.
They're just trading jabs there. Louis looking inside. feints a little bit, moves in, comes with the right hand right over the top of Carlton's left hand, covers up well, but hits that again, a good, solid, clean right hand. He's got him up by 1 point now, 29-28. A very close fight at this point.
Lewis starts right out with that solar plex kick. Young breathing very heavily in the corner between rounds. 2-minute rounds, good combination. Ended up with the right hand. Young, he can take punishment.
Young certainly can. He
walked right into that left hand, smiles, but he has nothing to smile about now. Lewis has a good sense now and is being fairly patient with him.
Lewis is just taking his time and picking his shots extremely well.
They have a trickle of blood coming from the nose of Young now.
Lewis looks very, very sharp. He really is. He's just picking those apart, not getting antsy, not running into anything.
Good shot to the body that time by Lewis. Lewis picking his punches very well. Overhand right, then covers up. Young refuses to go to the body. He had a good opportunity there, too, as a left hand meets. Good right to the body, comes up with a left hand. Young shaking, no, but doesn't affect Lewis at all. He looks as determined as ever to get his kicks in. I think Lewis has a great psychological advantage right now with the way Young is acting.
I think you're absolutely right. He's moving away. He's also short one.
Beautiful right hand by Lewis. Lewis now, I think, senses a kill, but he doesn't want to burn himself out. 24 seconds remaining in the round. The Battle of Atlanta here at Georgia Tech Coliseum. Our feature heavyweight bout with 14 seconds left in the round. Lewis, 39 years old, trying to come back after a 7 to 8 year layoff. There's the bell that ends the 4th round. And we've got some action after the bell. Young going back to the corner, brings the crowd out of their seats. We'll be back with more Battle of Atlanta. Let's stay right here now and see what more action might take place. The corners getting right in on it.
We have referee Bill Clark penalizing Young 1 point for the late punching after the bell. He took a shot at Lewis after the bell. And I think Lewis in that last round really did take away some heart from Charleton Young.
Let's take a look at the end of the round right now. Charleton Young obviously taking some punishment both to the body and the head now as Lewis is mixing up his target areas nicely.
Lewis
Raising right, but that was a hard brick right on the side of the head, and that had to be a blistering pain right there.
Just workmanlike, coming across and just picking Young apart, looking at shots.
The crowd comes alive for Joe Lewis.
Here we go with round 5. I've got Lewis leading now by 2 points, 39-37.
The crowd cheering for the legend and his comeback. He's had 2 fights in his comeback. The first one was a 6-round knockout. The next one, a unanimous decision. He says, if I just keep winning, it just keeps encouraging me to get back further into it. He says, I want to be encouraged all the way to the World Championship again.
Charleton Young doesn't seem to have that same look of confidence that he had early in the fight. Lewis again just stalking all the time, keeping the pressure on.
The last fight I saw Young in was in Lake Charles, Louisiana last year. And he really took Singletary apart. In fact, busted his jaw. But he has been cooled by the very artful talent and power of Joe Lewis. Lewis told me before the fight that he was hoping that the years of experience would have a great effect.
No question, they certainly are.
It's not a knockdown.
He caught him off balance with his leg in the air, and so the kick hit low, and it is not a target area, so it's not a legal knockdown. There's that hard left side kick by Lewis.
Overhand right, grazed in the back of the head, but Young took a pretty good left straight on that time. Lewis now keeping his eyes open, not wasting any energy. Good hard kick now to the solar plexus. Another good right hand. The crowd wants Lewis to go at him and finish him right here in this round with 19 seconds left. I think Lewis though, is being conservative.
I think Lewis still doesn't know, again, how much energy he's going to have. He's never gone 7 or not in a long time.
Lewis dropping his hands. A trickle of blood comes from the nostrils now of Young. There's the bell. The fighters going to their corner. The end of round 5. We'll be back with more battle. The punching power, John.
Lewis has been moving in. There he goes low to the rib cage with that right hand lead. He's been mixing it up. He'll come over the top one time. He'll come back and hit right to the rib cage the next. He's following up well with the left hook.
Wait for the bell, please.
And he's just staying inside whenever Young throws that flurry. Very cool.
Starts off round 6 with a good kick.
The last round I gave to Joe Lewis 10-9. I have Lewis out front now by 3 points, 49-46. We've got 2 rounds remaining, so Charleton Young has got to do it if he's going to do it. There's that
Lead
cycle.
kick, round kick before that, too, was impressive to see that Lewis has the energy to get that leg up high.
Well, Lewis has fairly good body flexibility. He can kick high, but he prefers to keep those kicks down there low.
Lewis will tell you, after being in the movies, Jaguar and Force 5, that the movies are more art form, but you get in that ring and it becomes a very physical thing. And he just wasn't too sure, because of the credentials of young Charleton Young, how well he'd do. Stepping inside.
Well, this fight has to do a lot for Joe Lewis's confidence, I think, in a lot of ways, because Charleton Young is a quality opponent.
Good hard shot that really hurt Young. And he comes back with a left-handed hook. Young on the run now, smiles, but he gets the combination up top. Lewis now. Now Lewis is sensing an end, I think. Lewis getting back just before the front kick.
Lewis is bringing him in now, saying, come on, let's get it, Charleton. Come after the old man.
Are you surprised that Charleton didn't make Lewis run more?
Well, I tell you, I don't know. I think that you feel the strength of a Joe Lewis awfully early. Lewis is just massively strong. And he had about a 10-pound weight advantage. They were both in the weight division. But I think that it's awfully hard to think in terms of making a guy run when he is so powerfully built, so strong.
Lewis with a very powerful kick at the bell, and the fans are standing up near ringside as we look back at Charleton Young. I think the fans are pleasantly surprised. They wanted to see their legend, the man they've heard so much about, the man that they've seen in past years do so well in all forms of karate. They want to see him do well. They were kind of hoping for him to do well, and here we are approaching the final round, round 7. So if there was any question about conditioning, you can throw that right out the window.
No question, Joe Lewis is in terrific shape. And there's that lead right hand that hurt Young, came right over the top. Caught him on the side of the head. If he'd have been about 3 inches lower, I think Young would have been knocked out.
Asa Gordon with the ice bag now on Lewis's left eye. It was slightly swollen earlier.
In that 5th round, Lewis still with 10 kicks, Young with 10 kicks, so there's no problem meeting the kicking requirement. Both fighters throwing excellent kicking technique.
Lewis started lifting weights at 16. He joined the Marines at 18. He took up karate at Okinawa. He was a black belt in 7 months, which normally takes from 3 to 4 years for most people. Hit the tournament circuit in 66. How do you score the fight so far, John Worley?
Last round again, 10-9 Lewis. I have it 59-55. Lewis certainly with a commanding lead.
Hard right hand that had Charleton Young just shaking his head.
Well, Young came out and made a good start and flurry here, trying to finish strong.
He knows he has a feeling that he's got some catching up to do.
Oh,
There's no doubt about that. But how much do you risk physical harm?
Well, he's pulling all the stops out. He's trying to get in there. I think he's probably aware that he can only win with a knockout.
No clinching in PKA full contact karate. Lewis's kick blocked by the elbows.
There's a spinning back fist by Young that hit pretty solidly. Lewis did not seem to be hurt, though.
That could have been a dangerous move because Lewis was spinning himself and might not have seen it.
I think that's absolutely what happened. Lewis once again scoring with that side kick, though. I know Young's rib cage has got to be feeling awfully bad with all the side kicks and right hands that have been coming
I think that right hand right to the ribs is one of the most effective punches in the entire fight as far as consistency is concerned, and wearing Charleton Young down, bringing the guard down in order to get the hard right and the good lefts up top.
Well, he's really done the job on Charleton Young tonight, no question about it. Lewis certainly still has it. I think Lewis will be looking for a shot at the championship in the very near future. He said at 39, I can't wait around a long time. I've got to move quick.
First PK heavyweight champion back in 1974. Dominated the sport in those days and wants to come back and try it one more time. Another shot below the, in the rib area there with that right hand. Lewis just stalking his fighter right now. Hard right hand, a very short but powerful punch. There's the bell that ends the fight. Joe Louis and Charleton Young. I'm sure Joe Louis, a very happy young man right now, if you call 39 years young. But after this performance, you got to say he's got the spirit of a youngster. We'll be back with the decision of our key heavyweight 7-rounder right after this.
A full contact
With the announcer Larry Black for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the decision. The judges' scores. Judge Willis scores the fight 70-63. Judge Keeney scores the fight 70-64. Judge Sawyer scores the fight 70-64. Ladies and gentlemen, he won the very first Battle of Atlanta, and he won again tonight, Joe Louis.
Well, there's our winner, Joe Louis. Once again, showing that 39 doesn't have to be considered old. It's all a matter of, as he says, it's a matter of state of mind.
A very happy Joe Louis here in the ring, John Worley. I would even like to talk to the young Charleton Young, because obviously it was an experience that he'll never forget, and one I'm sure that he had to learn the hard way in many instances. Charleton, it was a most unusual fight in that you couldn't dominate it.
Well, I took his age of being 39. I thought that I could overcome his age. But he has a better strategy than he got. He can move faster than what I thought he could. I got to admit, he's the first person that beat me. He's good. I got to admit it. I'd like to have a rematch one day, so that's just, that's in the future.
Charleton, thank you very much for a very, very game effort, and it's something to have to fight a legend, even if it's 39.
Well, I've always loved Joe Louis, and I thought I'd never get in the ring with him, and him saying he was 39 years of age, I said, well, I could probably take this fighter. And he did the total, he overcame the whole fight, and I wasn't expecting or anything, so.
Good luck, Charles.
Thank you very much.
Let's hear from Joe Louis now, after a fine victory. Joe, if there was any question about your conditioning, your ability to go 7 rounds, it just went right out the window, as we mentioned prior, because the youngster was quick, but you had your own fight game going.
He's a real nice guy. He make a great sparring partner for him. You see, I think he's only 22. I didn't start fighting until I was 22. See, my strategy was to go out there and take it round for round, and I knew if I backed him up, he couldn't fight going backwards. And I find that most of these heavyweights, they can fight coming forward, but they can't fight going back. Another thing, a lot of people really underestimate my speed. They all know I hit hard. I know I hit harder than anybody in the heavyweight division. My problem here, though, I kept hitting him high up here on the cheeks, and when they play this back slow motion, there's still all my shots are going high. And when I do that, what I should do is start aiming my punches at his neck and drop it down his jaw, because I should be able to drop him with one shot. But he's got a nice, thick, short neck, nice, wide jaw. He's a really nice guy. I really like the kid.
Joe, it looked like one of your effective punches from our vantage point was the right hand low to the ribs. It brought him down, and it did some punishing damage.
Yeah, one of the problems is I threw the right hand, if you can't figure it out, I was throwing it a little too high in the chest. You can't hit somebody, hit him in the chest. You got to drop it down and hit with kind of a concussive blow. What I call it a diaphragm. I knew he was a good kicker, but he wasn't exploding on his kicks like someone like the caliber of Bill Wallace. So I knew what I'd do as soon as the man kicks, what I do is I either step out of range or I step inside of it. All I was doing is as soon as he executed a kick, I'd step inside of it and unload a good, simple right punch right against his ribcage. You know, all you're doing on a punch is you're just sitting down on it. Instead of leaning forward to punch, you sit down on it and just torque right in on the gut. And those things hurt.
Okay, Joe, well, let's talk about the future now, right now. It's a situation where you're on the rise. You got 3 wins now. Do you want to be careful not to take it too soon, or do you feel time's running out?
Here's the problem. It's not that I'm 39 years old. Archie Moore was the world champion when he was 48. Sonny Liston was 41. Ezra Charles, Joe Walcott, Sugar Ray Robinson, all in their late 30s. See, my problem is I laid off for 7 years. I've only been working out for 5 months. So I'm fighting these kids. I call them kids because they're younger than me. I'm fighting these kids who have been in training for 3, 4, 5 years. I've only been working out 5 months. These guys, if they want a piece of me, they better take me now while I'm out of shape. I want to say hello to all my friends, my hometown Nightdale, my mama, and all my buddies in the Raleigh YMCA, and then my sparring partners at Fort Bragg and Camp Lejeune.
Congratulations on a great comeback victory as he's back, and he's back to stay, he says. Joe Louis will be back with a wrap-up after this.